Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, I want you to just think for a second about the absolute most intense, punishing industrial environments on the planet. I mean, we're talking about places that will literally chew up standard steel in a matter of weeks. Well, today, we're focusing on the exact material that survives and honestly thrives in those exact spots: titanium grade 2. Fun fact, titanium was actually named after the Titans of Greek mythology precisely because of its legendary strength, and it originally cut its teeth in aerospace engineering. But today, we're looking specifically at how a super agile Italian fabrication partner takes this mythological metal from raw stock and turns it into a heavy-duty industrial solution. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. When we talk about titanium grade 2, we're talking about the ultimate industrial workhorse. And the key here is that it's an unalloyed grade, so it doesn't rely on some complex, delicate mix of other metals. It's just using its pure native properties. It's absolutely the go-to choice when structural reliability under severe environmental stress is completely 100% non-negotiable. It provides that rock-solid practical integrity you need for robust factory setups and custom industrial fabrications. This right here is the baseline identity of strength and reliability.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll meet the industrial workhorse. Then we'll look at its unmatched material properties. Third, we cover the journey from raw to ready. Fourth, we'll get into real-world applications. And finally, agile supply and delivery.
Starting off with Section 1, meet the industrial workhorse, bridging metallurgy and heavy-duty shop floor execution.
Now, what's really interesting about this massive inventory matrix is the sheer scale of it. Partnering with a specialized mill headquartered in Milan, Italy, gives your team a really critical advantage. It brilliantly bridges the gap between basic raw metal distribution and highly specialized component manufacturing. We're talking about a mill-certified inventory that includes plates and sheets ranging from a tiny 0.5 millimeters all the way up to 120 millimeters, complete with precision shearing and custom surface descaling. Then you've got bars and forgings covering 6 to 450 millimeters with tailored open-die forging. And for fluid transport, piping that goes up to a massive 24-inch diameter featuring mandrel tube bending and comprehensive hydro-testing. Having a specialized supplier with this incredibly wide spectrum on hand promises to literally eliminate material bottlenecks for your engineers.
Moving right along to Section 2, unmatched material properties. Highly reliable performance under continuous industrial pressure.
You know, there's basically a rule of 3 when it comes to the technical superiority of this alloy. First up, reliable strength dynamics. It's incredibly strong but surprisingly light, which means engineering teams can design these lightweight setups that easily contain high-pressure fluids without having to add massive amounts of structural bulk. Second, flawless formability. Thanks to its natural ductility and balanced yield strength, things like field bending, cold rolling, and really complex shape adjustments are totally straightforward, with virtually zero risk of structural cracking. And the third piece of the puzzle, environmental immunity.
So the crucial point is, how does that environmental immunity actually work out in the field? Well, titanium grade 2 naturally forms a highly stable, self-healing oxide layer. Think of it like a native force field. It isn't just some applied coating that can chip off and expose the metal underneath. It's part of the metal itself. It completely blocks corrosive attacks from aggressive saltwater, localized pitting, and intense industrial humidity. This is exactly what protects your system against the absolute worst environmental conditions out there. Which brings us to Section 3, from raw to ready. Advanced engineering and custom fabrication solutions.
Now that we really understand the metal itself, this is where having that partnership model really accelerates your project timeline. You get high-precision CNC milling and heavy turning that meet incredibly tight geometric tolerances. They also run cleanroom automated TIG welding processes that conform strictly to rigid global pressure vessel standards. But actually, what's most unique is their use of tailored water jet profiling and cold cutting techniques. By completely avoiding heat to cut the metal, the native mechanical properties and the microstructure of the alloy are perfectly preserved, meaning it never weakens at the edges. Integrating these custom steps directly into your supply chain drastically reduces your own internal processing overhead. It's a real game changer.
All right, Section 4, real-world industrial applications. Long-term stability in highly volatile operating environments.
So where does this actually go in the real world? Let's take a look at corrosive process systems. In the chemical processing industry, components are subjected to super aggressive organic acids and chlorinated compounds every single day. This Italian manufacturer specializes in bespoke fabrications like complex chemical reactor housings, heavy-duty industrial mixing vessels, and custom shell and tube heat exchangers. Because of those incredible material properties we discussed earlier, these specific components just flawlessly handle those brutal chemicals year after year without degrading.
And the applications extend perfectly into marine and food operations too. Just think about the massive contrast here for a second. On one hand, you have high-salinity offshore piping arrays and desalination plant filtration units being constantly battered by highly corrosive ocean water. On the other hand, you have completely biocompatible food production lines. In food manufacturing, absolute zero material contamination is a strict, non-negotiable requirement. And titanium grade 2? It delivers that incredibly pure, stable performance across both of those extreme environments.
Finally, we have Section 5, Agile Supply and Delivery, removing the friction of rigid minimum order quantities.
We've talked a lot about metallurgy and engineering, but let's be real. The best material in the world is absolutely useless if you can't get it on your timeline. And this brilliantly illustrates the unrivaled production agility of this supplier. If you have small batch or replacement needs, you get fast-track material staging and rapid prototyping with absolutely no minimum order quantities. None. It removes all that usual procurement friction. But on the flip side, if you're managing massive, large-scale infrastructure, they seamlessly switch to continuous factory rolling schedules and synchronized multi-phase project deliveries that map directly to your physical installation timeline. Your procurement is dictated solely by your project's actual scope, not by some restrictive factory limitations. Now, for the risk-averse buyer out there, and we should all be risk-averse when it comes to industrial engineering, quality validation is everything. Think of these certifications as a global passport for your materials. Every batch comes with universally accepted legal approval for international deployment, which means full ASTM and ASME compliance. Crucially, standard EN 1024 3.1 mil test certificates are provided with every single shipment to verify authentic heat traceability and mechanical destructive test results. Plus, the whole shebang is fully aligned with the Pressure Equipment Directive for friction-free, cross-border, high-temperature pressure applications.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the physical delivery process. This Italian supplier provides comprehensive export support that guarantees reliable, on-time material arrival from the factory gate directly to your facility. Step 1 is custom transit protection, using heavy-duty, seaworthy wooden boxing to completely prevent physical distortion and surface contamination during shipping. Step 2 is simplified export documentation, meaning the instant preparation of certified bills of lading and customs declarations. And Step 3 is adaptive Incoterms delivery for totally flexible freight arrangements. They basically handle all the complex international trade compliance, so you simply don't have to worry about it.
So we've explored the unmatched properties of the metal, the massive custom fabrication capabilities over in Milan, and an incredibly agile, friction-free supply chain. The evidence is pretty clear on why this is the ultimate industrial workhorse. But I want to leave you with this thought. Take a moment to evaluate your own facility's vulnerabilities right now. Consider the high-pressure, highly corrosive, or high-salinity areas in your active workflow. How will titanium grade 2 maintain structural integrity in your specific volatile environment? Could an agile Italian supplier be your turnkey solution to eliminate those bottlenecks once and for all? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to take a closer look at your own structural needs today.